Let's assume that you have a nice job where you are earning $50,000 a year, and in order to earn this $50,000, you're working 40 hours a week for 52 weeks a year. So you're putting in 2,080 hours in order to earn this $50,000 of money. Now, what you have to ask yourself is, what is this $50,000 that you're earning? I mean, it's $50,000 worth of money, but how much effort is really required to earn or create that $50,000 that you had to work to earn? Because the government can create or print that $50,000 before I can even finish the sentence with just the push of a button. So Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, really made popular this idea that our money, these dollars that we work so hard to earn, is fake because our money, or what we call money, is not backed by gold or silver or anything tangible. This money is just paper, and we work so hard to earn this paper, while the government can just print this paper with the click of a button. But it's kind of hard to imagine that our money is fake because this is the money that we use to pay our rent, to buy our food, and to buy our vacations. But the question that you want to ask yourself, especially now more than ever, is what are you working for? You say that you're working for money. Okay, but what is money? Is it that paper $100 bill that I have? Right now, at the time of me recording this video, the United States has right around $28 trillion worth of national debt, and we are on pace to hit $78 trillion worth of national debt in just a few years. Now, that probably just seems like a random big number because it's really hard for our brains to comprehend what $1 trillion is, so let me try to break it down. Let's assume that you can count $1 in 1 second. If you could do that and you wanted to count $1 million, it would take you 11 days. Now, that's probably not something you want to do, but you could do it. If you wanted to count $1 billion, it would take you just over 31 years. Again, that's definitely not something you'd want to do, but you could do it in your lifetime. But if you wanted to count $1 trillion, that would take you 31,000 years. That's not something you could do in your lifetime. Now, if we multiply that by 28, which is $28 trillion, the amount of national debt that we have, that means it would take you almost 900,000 years to count the amount of national debt that we have, and we're on pace to triple that in just a few years. So what is my good friend Benji really worth? No hard feelings, Benji. Well, money is supposed to be a representation of worth. If your time is valued at $20 an hour and you spend an hour at work, then you earn $20. That's also supposed to make spending money pretty straightforward, because if you want to buy a $100 scarf, that means you got to work for 5 hours to earn $100 to afford the scarf. The tricky thing now is that the value of our money can be manipulated. Back in the day, our dollars used to be tied to the value of gold. And let's assume hypothetically that an ounce of gold is worth $20. So if you put in an hour work and you made $20, you effectively made 1 ounce of gold worth of value. These paper dollars were really just a paper representation of how much value that you created that you could see through how much gold that you were entitled to. If you put in 1 hour of work, you're entitled to 1 ounce of gold. If you put in 5 hours of work, you're entitled to 5 ounces of gold. So this creates a benchmark of value, because not only does it take you time and effort and labor to earn that $20, but it also takes time and effort and labor to mine 1 ounce of gold. So it was a lot easier to define what $100 was worth, because $100 was worth whatever it took to mine 5 ounces of gold. But then in the 1970s, our dollar was taken off of the gold standard, so our dollars became just paper.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
That's when our dollars changed to something called fiat currency, and I'll just read you the definition of what that means. A fiat currency is a national currency like our dollar that is not pegged to the price of a commodity like gold or silver. The value of a fiat currency is largely based on the public's faith in the currency's issuer, which is normally the government. So this money that you're working so hard to earn is not backed by gold or silver or anything tangible. It's just a piece of paper that's backed by the government. Now, lucky for us, the United States is the most powerful country in the world. It has the most powerful military presence in the world, and it has the most powerful economy in the world. Before we go any deeper in this, let me just make sure this is clear. I'm not trying to promote any conspiracy theories. I just want you to understand how your money works. That way you can learn how to use your money the right way, because that's what financial education is all about, and that's what we talk about on our YouTube channel all the time. We talk about investing your money, saving smartly, and using your money the right way. Well, if you don't understand what your money is, then the financial education doesn't really really have that much value. When your dollars are not backed by anything tangible, it makes it very easy to manipulate the value of the dollars that you're working so hard to earn. I'll show you what I mean. So let's go back to this example where now I'm working really hard to earn $50,000 a year. So this is me, and I'm going to work every single day. Gotta draw me a nice mustache. I'm going to work every single day so I can make $50,000 in a year. And let's assume, for the sake of this example, just to keep things simple, that there are only $500,000 in the entire world. So I worked really hard to attract and earn this $50,000, and there's only $500,000 in the world, which means I control 10% of this country's buying power of this dollar. So I own 10% of the wealth because that's what I worked hard to earn. Now here's the thing, if these dollars are just paper and the government comes out and they say, you know what, we're going to increase the money supply and we're going to change the amount of dollars out there from $500,000 to $1 million, they have just increased the money supply, and if I don't get any of that, now I don't have 10% of the world's wealth, I only have 5% of the total buying power or world's wealth, because the amount of dollars out there just doubled because the government decided to print more money and inject it into the economy. And unless I get some of that, I just became poorer because I have the same amount of money when there's more money out there. Now, if I wanted to go out and buy myself a side of extra guac that used to cost $5 when there was only $500,000 in circulation, I'm gonna need $10 in order to buy the same side now, because you need the same kind of percentage, the same amount of wealth, the same amount of value in order to buy that guac, because now there's so many more dollars out there. It might sound like a crazy example, and yeah, it's a little bit simplified, but that's kind of how our monetary system works. Our money supply is controlled by our central banking system, which is known as the Federal Reserve Bank, and the Federal Reserve Bank has the ability to print money. So when you hear about things like the rising national debt, and you hear bailouts are happening, you hear about stimulus checks, what that means is the government is going deeper into debt to fund whatever it is they want to do, and in order to fund their debt, they're working with the Federal Reserve Bank to print this money, and then the Federal Reserve Bank gives this money to the United States government, and then the United States government then injects this money into our economy. Could you imagine if you had your own money printer? I mean, you could walk into the mall, go to the Gucci store, and see that $400 scarf and say, oh no, I don't have $400. Let me just print a few $100, boop, 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 $400 come out, now you just got yourself a new Gucci scarf. You and I, unfortunately, don't have the ability to do that because we have to work to earn this money, but the Fed can just print money. This money printing does have consequences because now you need $2 to buy you what $1 could before. This is what inflation is. This is why your rent keeps getting more expensive. This is why your groceries keep getting more expensive. You need more dollars to have the same buying power that you had before. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.